Yo YouTube, this is my video for today, which is Wednesday the 11th of September, and my stats are as follows. Based on my ongoing diesel price of 13.25 pence per mile, today I drove 323 miles, 323. I've had a short day, 9 3/4 hours, and I've earned from 3 CX jobs £255, and I've spent £42.80 on fuel, meaning that my net earnings today after fuel is taken into account comes to £212, and I feel like I've had a pretty good day. Could have gone worse, definitely. Now before the light goes, I'm going to try and get this video done and get it posted. So, how did I earn that money? I didn't have a job. Yes, it is. Yes, yesterday I did get a job booked in. It's going from Sleaford to Milton Keynes. It was for a medium wheelbase van, and I put a bid on of £105, which I thought was a bit generous in my favour for 97 loaded miles. And it was Sleaford's only about, well, if I go to a village to the south of Sleaford, it's half an hour, 20 minutes. If I'm actually in Sleaford itself, or the other side of Sleaford, it's more like 40 minutes, half an hour to 40 minutes. This was right on the other side of Sleaford, so it's 40 minutes today. So I left the house at 9:20. I was due to be picking it up at 10 o'clock. So the only downside really was it was a later start, a 10 o'clock pickup. I've been to this place a couple of times before. They're really friendly guys at the pickup point. I really enjoy going there. The forklift driver today was a new person, and I thanked him for being so friendly. And he said, well, you've got to be able to do, because otherwise you get what you give, don't you? You give out positivity, you get it back. And I thought, absolutely, good on you. And I completely agree with him. I think that's absolutely is what you get. If you give out positive vibes, people tend to be nice to you, and vice versa. So I picked up that one pallet. It was an extra long pallet, and I took that to Milton Keynes. The route that my sat-nav gave me, though, was only 85 miles, and there was a motorway route that was 5 minutes quicker, but I thought I'll save that money and make this even more worth my while. So it was no problems going down. I got to the I was off site at 10:10, so a really quick turnaround. They're really efficient, and then I went down to Milton Keynes. And the place I was living to, I recognised when I got there as well. I've been there before, no doubt doing the same run as I did today. And I arrived on site at 12:15, thereabouts, and I was off site within 5 minutes, 12:20. And this particular industrial estate, there isn't any parking actually around, but there is like a little lay-by, dead-end lay-by that I went to before. So I went there today and I had a look for jobs. Well, that car was a bit hasty. Wow, that's a bit shocking, really. That put me off my stride completely, that did. Right, so I was looking for jobs for Milton Keynes, and I went through the list of stuff that was already on the list. So I've got rid of stuff that was going south. There was jobs going from there to London to Portsmouth, and I was just looking at only jobs heading north or west. So I immediately got rid of about half the jobs that are available, and I got a call for a job that I took, and the first job that I got a call about was from Milton Keynes going to Birmingham. But I also got a call about, I would say, 5 to 10 seconds after I picked up the phone. No, picked the phone and I got a call coming for a second job that I also bid on. I had to just take the first job that I got. So the first job was the Milton Keynes to Birmingham. No, not Birmingham, sorry, Burton-on-Trent. And that was, I went quite cheap for me, because my tactic today was just keep rolling, keep moving, keep earning money, don't stay too long in the same area, because I had had a late start, so I wanted to try and get at least 3 jobs in, and possibly 4 jobs in. So I went cheap, which was cheaper than I usually do. So this was a small van job. It's going 84 miles, and I put a £60 bid on that, and I was quite happy with that as a bid. It is a bit on the lower side, but it's not ridiculously low. And the bid that I turned down was a bid on a job going from Milton Keynes to Leicester, long wheelbase van job, but it had 2 stops in Leicester, and that was more like 46 miles roughly. But because of the 2 stops, I put a bid on of £70. So it was £60 for my minimum plus a tenner for the extra stop. And I actually got offered that job, but in the end I was kind of perfectly happy to go for the one going to Burton-on-Trent, because that I knew was taking me into a good area. But to be fair, so was the Leicester one. So either job would have been equally as viable and valid for me. I probably would have finished them both about the same time. As it was, I arrived at the pickup point. I was only 12 minutes away, only 6 miles away from the pickup point. So I arrived there at 12:37. No, sorry, I had the call at 12:37. I arrived at 12:48. I was off site at 12:54. And then I went to Burton, and I arrived there at 2:45, and eventually finished at 2:52. And it was just one box that I was taking up, so that was generally a really easy one. So I also, because I had the other option was a long wheelbase van going to Leicester, that might be more complex to offload, so I was pleased to have this easier job to do. But I realised that it was almost 3 o'clock and I was in Burton having only done 2 jobs. So my day at this point was really in the balance. What am I going to do? I wanted to get 2 more little jobs in, sort of £60 or £50 jobs in, but it was 3 o'clock and I was really going to struggle trying to fit anything else in. So I parked in the car park of where I delivered, and it was, as I said, about 5 to 3, and I bid on what was around, and there was a job that came up going from Birmingham, sorry, not Birmingham, Coles Hill, which I know is near Birmingham, it's actually in Birmingham, Coles Hill going to Huntingdon, and there was nothing else that came up that I did bid on other stuff, but nothing else came up that was going anywhere near the east of the country where I live. So I thought I would do that job. Unfortunately, there was a couple of things that really gave me some anxiety. It was a long wheelbase van job, which isn't a problem, but it did say it was delivering alcohol, and it did say there's handball at both ends, and I really want to avoid handball if I can. But it just felt like just a perfect job to get me closer to home and actually have a reasonably short day. Not that I was bothered about having a short day, but getting close to home was quite a good idea. So I stuck a bid on, and I put a very competitive bid on because I kind of did want it. I did sort of want it, but also I was anxious about it. So it was an 86 loaded mile job, and I put £90 on, and it was 28 miles away, what it was, a 40-minute drive. So it wasn't ideal. The pros of this one was I got a call on this at 10 minutes after I finished my other job, so I had very little wasted time. Another pro was it was extra money, taking me above my target. Another pro was it was getting me close to home. The cons of it were it was quite a long way to drive to get the pickup, and it was potentially going to involve handballing alcohol. handballing heavy stuff. The alcohol's not an issue for me, it's just whether it's heavy or not. And whether that would be hard for me at the start, and whether I'd have a long way to go at the other end. Now, on the notes, it did say that the weight of the load was 159 kilograms. So I sort of thought that's probably a keg, maybe just one keg, maybe two kegs. Wasn't quite sure. And so I thought I'll take a risk that I can cope with that, because if it's a small number of heavy items, that's better than a lot of lighter items. Doing a lot of trips backwards and forwards would just be too tiny for me. So I took a bit of a risk. I did make my way, and I picked it up. They rang me, told me about the handball, and I said that's fine. I'll do my best. I know it's handball; it's in the notes, and I said I'll do the job for you. So I went to do the job, and when I arrived at the pickup point, I would describe it as being a subsection that dealt with alcohol of a logistics company that I've heard of previously that does other stuff. So I think it was sort of an arm of a bigger company that we've all heard of. Rather than it being a brewery, it wasn't a brewery, it was a warehouse environment. And they were a bit more relaxed than other places I've been to where it's been a brewery. A brewery, that's the word, a brewery. They weren't hyper relaxed, but they were just a little bit more just friendlier and just efficient. And so the picking up point, when I got there, eventually found the right office. It was just 3 small kegs, and I could cope with that quite easily. They were reasonably heavy. They were 9 kilograms. Now I don't know if the 9 kilograms includes the metal casket or not. I'm assuming, actually I wouldn't know, I'm assuming it might do. So 9 kilograms is something I can just about lift okay, and I can roll these kegs. So I got them, and I parked really close to them. So there's like bays, and I just ignored all the bays and came up and drove up, facing my van at right angles to the bay, and just parked as close as I could to it, and rolled on the 3 barrels. No one said anything, which is why I was thinking it was a bit more relaxed than other places I've been to. So they were on board, got them strapped up, and then made my way to Huntingdon. So I don't think I told you the amount of it. So it was 81 loaded miles. It was on the system as a long wheelbase job, but really it was just 3 small kegs. It was a small van job in reality. So I bid £90 to get that, and I arrived on the site to pick up at 4:05 and was off site within about 5 or 10 minutes. So I took that load to Huntingdon, but it was actually a village north of Huntingdon. It wasn't. It was just a pub north in a village north of Huntingdon, and I got that offloaded and signed for. Took a photo of the stuff that I left it sort of just through the back gate. They opened the gate for me, and I rolled them to the back gate, put them there, and then that was it. That's my day. So that is the 3 jobs that gave me the 255. So 105, the 90 and the 60. So I'm going to end up being at home in about 40 minutes, and I was pleased with that as a day. I can't remember if I told you or not. Yeah, I think I did just then, because I did a little job yesterday morning for £65. So that's a little bit extra for this week. So I'm not going to make the full target this week, I don't think, because I can't work tomorrow morning, and I can't work Saturday morning, but Friday's my last working day. But we'll see how we get on. But I was going to say one thing about this is I'm getting a bit better at choosing the jobs to do. So I've made today, as I said, £212 after fuel, and I started at first drop. I left the house at 9:20, and I'll be home before 7 o'clock. So I've managed to earn a reasonable rate from 3 jobs. And in the past, there was jobs that I would have bid on. So there's a job going from Milton Keynes to Portsmouth, or no, it might be Banbury to Portsmouth, something like that. And I would have jumped on that in the past because it was a long job, but I would have ended up too far from home. I either had to tramp out or dead mile it back. And I don't really need to do those sort of jobs at the moment, at least in this climate. I can sort of stick more sensibly locally. I'm finding that Nottingham, Northampton, Leicester, Derby, and then Birmingham and Manchester are kind of where I'm getting a lot of my work from at the moment, and they seem to be pretty good hunting grounds at the moment for getting the work I need. So I seem to be getting a little bit better at selecting, or not doing the jobs that get me out of the way. There was a job to Merthyr Tydfil I think it was from Birmingham when I did my second job, and I was tempted to do that, but I thought I'd end up way too far from home. And I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it, but I think it might have been a small van job, and it wasn't really going to be much margin in it. So I didn't do that job. I didn't get to Wrexham. There's a job to Wrexham. I said a job to Portsmouth as well. So I managed to avoid getting too far from home, and that is not what I used to do. So it just seems like I'm beginning to make some better decisions about which jobs to take. I just need to really be a bit more consistent about, I think, the amount of what I bid, because on 2 days now I've got calls on top of calls, which makes me think I'm bidding slightly too low. So maybe I need to think about starting a bit higher again, but it worked today because I had a late start and we have an early finish, so maybe I can't complain about that. Right, that'll be it for now. Shortest video. I'm next due to be back on Friday, and then we'll see how that goes, and then I'll do a summary for the week on Friday. So thank you very much for listening to my video. I hope that you are all being successful, however you choose to define that word for yourselves. Farewell, friends.